All praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rechakwadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, Shalom, salutations to the hopeful elect that's fighting a good fight of faith and truth, in sincerity and wholeheartedly, Shalom to the Akwath, which is the women believers, Shalom to you. All praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. So I want to title this video, Neither Keepeth at Home Will Be Their Demise. So, to get a few scriptures out the way, start off with the, basis of this lesson. You're going to see when we watch this video. So, the title of this video is from the first post. Trump threatens to intervention as Iran protests. All right. So, it said, also because he transferred by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desire as hell, and is as death, cannot be satisfied. So everywhere that this devil go, death and hell follows. And he's never satisfied. He got the whole world. Remember, the scripture said the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. Also, matter of fact, let me finish this first. But gather unto himself all nations and heap unto himself all people. So this is what he's going to do with the mark of the beast, but this is not what this video was about. But the point that I wanted to harbor on is neither keepeth at home. And even the scripture says, mind your business, mind your business. But he can't do that. So it says, strive not in the matter that concern thee not, and sit not in judgment with sinners. My son, meddle not with many matters, for if you meddle much. And remember now, obviously, this scripture applies to the men and women of the Lord. But remember, scriptures are twofold. So this applies to everybody. If you're going to put your nose in other people's business, as the scripture says, you shall not be innocent. And if you follow after, you shall not obtain, neither shall you escape by fleeing. All right. So this is what's about to happen to these devils. All right. So let's watch the video.
Will Donald Trump attack Iran again? That's the big question in West Asia right now. As we speak, massive protests are underway in Iran. People are rallying in cities across the nation. There have been violent clashes and buildings have been destroyed. Until now, at least 7 deaths have been reported. This is the 6th day of public protests in Iran. They began over the economic crisis in the country. Their currency, the rial, plunged earlier this week. It slipped to 1.42 million against the US dollar, meaning $1 is worth 1.42 million rial. This made shopkeepers in Tehran hit the streets. Soon things escalated. University students joined the demonstrations and then ordinary citizens began rallying. Take a look. In the middle of this chaos came a message from Donald Trump, or rather a threat from Donald Trump. Here's what he wrote. If Iran shoots and violently kills peaceful protesters, which is their custom, the United States of America will come to their rescue. We are locked and loaded.
So, this is the devil being the devil. And then you see how, that's why the scriptures call him the accuser. All right. Which also means devil. All right. Diabolos, the scripture that we said that the accuser of the brethren, it actually means to slander. It means to accuse. So that's what he does. It said, which is their custom. So he's already pointing the blame. He's trying to have a justification of going over there. Now, I made a video about the protests and how basically highlighting the fact that Iran, is a big uh, player. He's a major player in World War III, and all this is doing is just igniting a fire. Because if Trump do go over here, remember Iran and Russia, they are close allies. So you mess with Iran, you mess with Russia, and then the scriptures talk about what Gog from the land of Magog is going to do to America. They're going to shoot fire on her. So all of this is leading to World War III. At the same time, the digital infrastructure is being built right before your eyes. Remember, World War III got to come before the mark of the beast, and everything is lining up. So he's talking about going over there trying to save the day. Let's go back to Habakkuk, because we're going to read to 8. It says, shall not all these take up a parable against them, and a taunting proverb against them, saying, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. Now the prophets do this the most. The nations do it, but not like the prophets do. We've been talking about how America is in debt, and how they always going somewhere and they don't belong there, and how they continue to keep putting themselves more in debt by printing money, loaning out money. All right. So they got so much debt that they can't even get out. That's why they going to crash the system. See, everything have a process that leads to a conclusion. All right. So the mark of the beast will be justified in the eyes of the elite, because inflation will happen. What's going on in Iran will happen to America. And the people are going to be looking for a solution. And look at that. I wasn't even trying to talk about the mark of the beast, but that's just the spirit. All right. I can't help it. Whatever the Lord wants to come out is going to come out. But anyways, everything leads to the MOTB. But yeah, so everything that's happening in Iran will come to America. And that's what's going on. War, financial collapse. They go together. Okay. But anyways, this video is about these devils, not staying at home, minding their own business. You got Americans, all right, that's struggling, getting taxed to death, wages not increasing, but price increasing. All right. You got so many homeless people, but you would send billions and billions and billions of dollars to Ukraine and everywhere else, but you won't help out your own people. So this is the taunting proverb against them, saying, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. How long, and to himself that laid himself with the clay, which is debt. Shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee? That's the nations. Okay, because remember, the assembly of great nations, as I say in Jeremiah 50, from the north country, which is Russia, leading with Russia, and then the rest of his allies. Okay, and Iran is one of his closest allies, if not the closest. So it says, in awake. See, that is the word right there. See, right now, everything is lying dormant because it ain't time. But as you see, the Lord is rousing up the nations right now with the uproars. So he's uproaring right now. The Lord is allowing, because uproar has been happening. It happens a lot, but it just don't be on the mainstream news. Like, a lot of nations been uproaring for the past few years. Like America is not going to show every country, sorrows, put it that way. So these are the things that you got to watch for. Also, America is not going to report on every earthquake either. It got to be like a major one, But earthquakes is happening all the time. Uproars of the people happen all the time. This is just a topic of discussion right now. And the Lord is highlighting it because Iran is a major player in World War III. So that shall vex thee, and you shall be booties unto them, which is spoil. Okay, because you're going to be destroyed over there in the Middle East, because you have spoiled many nations. All the remnant of the people shall spoil you, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, and of the city, and of all that dwell therein. So this is the payback, and it's all going to lead to that. Now you see, remember in the beginning of the video, it said, will United States attack Iran again? So back in June, remember they was they basically target a nuclear site. All right. So the retaliation, was I think Iran hit a couple of hospitals in Israel. You know what I'm saying? Remember that? So all of this happened back in June, you know. But anyways, all of this is escalate into World War III.
Ready to go. Now, it's not clear what Donald Trump means here, but the words locked and loaded sound ominous. Is Trump talking about a military intervention? If he is, Iran says it's ready too. An advisor to their supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, has responded. This is what he said, and I'm quoting again. Trump must realize that US intervention in this internal matter will lead to destabilizing the entire region and destroying American interests.
So destroying American interests, all right? Because as the scripture said, what matter of fact, I'm gonna get Jeremiah 1. I'm gonna get Jeremiah instead of Obadiah. Say the same thing, but I like this one better. It said, I have heard a rumor from Yahweh, and an ambassador is sent unto the heathen, saying, gather ye together, come against her, rise up to battle. That's the nations. For lo, I will make you small among the heathen and despised among men. So that's what's going to happen. See, America have been a tyrant for too long, and the nations is getting tired, and the Lord is the one that's going to do it. It said, the king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh as the rivers of water. He turneth it whatsoever he will. And the Lord is going to turn it into you being small among the heathen, which when you go into that word small is quatan in the Hebrew, and it means insignificant. See, at one point in time, you was the significant one, but now you're going to be insignificant because you're at your end. I mean, Babylon the Great is hanging on by a thread, literally. Like the last play in the playbook is to crash the system and bring the MOTB and also bring the sword, which goes together, because most people ain't about to just bow down to that. The scripture says it's going to be civil war, but all of this is looking good for us, and that's what you always need to understand. So when all hell break loose, these devils is going to break loose too. But the difference is, when Jacob's trouble come, the Lord said he will be saved out of it. That's talking about the elect. That's talking about the ones who trust in him. See, all of this is going to lead to the final war, as the scripture says. Matter of fact, let's get that. All of this is the beginning stages. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe coming quickly. And his show is.
Well, here's the thing. A US president threatening Iran is not new. We've heard that many times. But this is a US president who has already attacked Iran. That was in June last year, June 2025. Trump bombed Iranian nuclear sites. And this week, he has threatened to do it again. Listen in.
Now I hear that Iran is trying to build up again, and if they are, we're going to have to knock them down. We'll knock them down. We'll knock the hell out of them.
Iran's regime is being cautious. They're accusing Donald Trump of using the Libya playbook.
Going back to neither keepeth at home, right? Because even the scripture in Jeremiah 49:20, it said that the least of the flock shall draw them out. So Israel is going to bring America into World War III because, as you see, Israel keep on poking against Ishmael and Elam, because that's what Iran is. Iran is Elam in the scriptures, okay? India, Iran, Tajikistan, Pakistan, Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, like all of that, all the ands, okay? That's Elam right there, all right? And as you see that America is always in the conflict. So all of this is great news.
And what's that? What's the Libya playbook? Libya saw huge protests in early 2011. The US used that unrest to launch a military operation to topple the Libyan regime of Muammar Gaddafi.
And you also got to understand that the leaders of these nations are still in cahoot. That's why I read the scripture of Proverbs 21:1 that, the king's heart is in the Lord's hand. So it's going to be a time where the Lord is going to disassemble You know, because matter of fact, when you go to let you know that this still applies, I want to say 17 and 12. Let me make sure. 13. It said, these have one mind and shall give their power unto the strength of the beast. All right. So you got the NATO in the EU. All right. That's the beast system. And the Lord have put it in their spirit to basically depend on America, you know, financially, militarily. And then these nations have, you know, laid in bed with America too. So the kings of these nations, which is the leaders, they are all in bed with America. So that's why the financial collapse is going to be worldwide, because obviously this is a protocol. This is something that they have to do. And also, you already know Esau is the devil. You already know he promised the leaders of those nations, oh, yeah, you crash in the system, but you don't have to worry about that. All right. But all of this is playing into prophecy. Everything that he's doing, he's leading to his demise. So I want to get these scriptures out because I don't want this video to be too long. And the video pretty much over. But it says, woe unto you that spoilest, and you was not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. So now the time is coming when you shall cease to spoil, you shall be spoiled. And when you shall make an end to deal treacherously, they should deal treacherously with thee. And that goes into Job. At the fullness of your sufficiency, every hand of the wicked shall be against you. All right. So that's what's all of this is leading to World War III and the mark of the beast. Hopefully you can see. And if you can't, pray to the Lord. When the prophets make videos, they're not just making it just to make it. So when you start from 1, it goes into Gog from the land of Magog, okay, which is Russia. All right. When you look at an ancient map, that's the old USSR. All right. And all these nations came together to make Russia. Now Russia even got its own alliance. It's called the Collective Treaty Security Organization. All right. Then you got the axis of resistance. That's the so-called Arab tribes. They got an alliance. Russia got an alliance with Elam, because that Collective Treaty Security Organization, the CSTO, is Russia, Albania, or Armenia. It's one of the two. But then it's Belarus, then it's Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, and Tajikistan. All of the ants, okay? So the Lord is setting everything up. So it said, now will turn you back and put hooks into your jaws. This is when the USSR disassembled, but now the Lord is bringing it back. Okay? So it says, and I will bring you forth in all your army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Persia, this is Elam. This is what this video is about. Ethiopia, Libya, then with them, all of them with shield and helmet. And guess what? Guess who all up in Ethiopia and Libya? It ain't Ham, it's Ishmael with Ham. Okay, so it says Gomer, Turkey, all of his bands, the house of the Togarmah of the north quarters. When you do research, it's like Georgia, Armenia, in that area. It said, and all his bands and many people with thee. And actually, Georgia was a part of Russia at one point in time. And it said, it actually is Russia. And it said, but be thou prepared and prepare for yourself, you and all your company that are assembled unto you, and be a guard unto them. So that's what's going to happen. You go over there and you going to fuck around and find out. Okay. So I'm going to end it on this. Let it play a little bit more, because the leader going to be talking about, basically trying to act like this is not America's fault. This is our fault, and blah, blah, blah. And, basically trying to pacify. But the Lord, he got different intentions.
Almost 15 years later, Iran is fearing a repeat. The question is, will things go that far? And to answer that, let's look at the situation inside Iran. How bad are things? Well, the economic pain is certainly real. The US has imposed crippling sanctions on the Iranian economy. Inflation is around 40%, 40. Growth forecast is minus 2.8%, meaning the economy will actually shrink this year, minus 2.8%.
And why do you think that? All right. So this video, I ain't gonna watch it all because the point is already made. We gonna see if Trump actually go over there and neither keep it at home. And then when he do that, if he do that, we're gonna see what it leads to. But at the end of the day, prophecy have the last say so. So it said, "For he shall have judgment without mercy, that have showed no mercy, and mercy rejoiceth against judgment." So this devil never showed no mercy. He ain't gonna receive no mercy. So we're gonna see where this goes. See how the new year's starting off. Beautiful time to be alive in your right mind. Seek ye out the Lord while he may be found. And shalom.